All right, well, let's challenge your thinking. And that's the whole idea here. I think we are a little bit passive. We accept what we've been told and we don't stop to think about it. Now, at this time of year, you've got time to think. And certainly in this market, you've had time to think. So first example, we have a property, you have a new listing. You'll be very happy about that. You have a new listing and we've been taught something, you might call it 20-20-40 or prospect around the new listing. And that means we'll go 20 houses on one side of the house, 20 houses the other way, and 40 on the other side. Magic, some people call it the magic 100, whatever you load it up as. Well, right away, you know the numbers aren't right because if you do 20-20 on this side, you've got to do 41 on the other side if you're going to balance it. That's the first thing I look at and go, something's not quite right. Now, what we're looking for there and what we've always been told is I'm now looking to see if one of these neighbors would buy it. Well, I haven't seen that happen. I don't know if that really happens. One of the neighbors might sell, absolutely, but you're looking for that also. Now, here's the challenge. They might sell, but I don't think they'll sell with you. So here's an observation. By doing on-site auctions for years and years and years, agents were saying, I want to be on-site, Wayne, because all the neighbors come along, they see how good I am, and I sell the house, and then they will give me their listing. And yet over those years, the same agent doesn't take me back to the same street for the next listing. So there's something wrong. There's a disconnect between what we're told and what the data is. I see another example. So going back over just as we came out of the COVID period, the street I was in, we're about number 30 on the street. And between us and the intersection, there was 9 sales. 9 sales. That's a lot of sales just out of, that small group of houses and a lot of driveways and double up homes down the driveways. But here's the interesting thing. The guys that got a listing in there, some did the magic. They did the 20-20-40, door knocking on the neighbors, and they dropped the flyers in, and maybe very few did this, but they should have done the invite to the opens and the invite through to the auction, and then I just sold it, I need another one. But out of the 9, no one repeated. So no one won the next lot of business by doing that in the street. No one. But when you do it, you tell the street that the street's valuable and that people are interested in being there. And what I'm going to suggest is then the owner in the street goes to the professional they already know. Why would you go with the stranger just because they sold the one next door? They go to the person that they already know, and that drives them to the market. Now, that's my argument. Now, if we do that, and picture this, and I know some people will be driving as you're listening to this, so visually you won't get some of this, but I'll try and make it really easy. At the start of our career, and in fact in today's market, you will grab any listing and every listing you can that you can sell or have potential to sell in your city or your town. So I might have a listing that's out west. I grab that. And the old wisdom would say, do your door knocking around it, tell everybody about it. And then my next listing is out east. And I get a new listing out east. And I tell everybody around that how good I am. Come to it. Look at me. I just sold it. And then I grab one that's north. And I repeat the same process. How good am I? Come to it. And I just sold it. And then I do south. And south I do exactly the same. Now, as I do that, there's no multiplier effect sitting in there. The people in the south didn't know you did the other 3 sales or how good you are, and vice versa. You get no compounding or no multiplication on that as you go through. And I think that's why they go, I don't really know who you are. I haven't seen you before, so I'm actually going to go with my local agent, the guy who's been farming to me consistently. Now, there'll be an argument out there. I know somebody's doing it right now. They're going, oh, no, I got another one in the street. I don't think you got it off the basis of doing your magics around it. I think you got it off the basis of doing farming and farming that area. So let's do it again now, and let's do as farming. So I list a house north and my farm area is central. I come back to central. I say, I've just listed one. Let me know if you want to see it. They don't want to see it. I'm going to take it to auction. Here's when the opens are. Here's the auction invite. And now I've just sold it. Now, because it's north and you're in central, just drop the suburb off. Just use the street. It's only agents and taxi drivers that know every street in the suburb. No one else does. They know theirs and the other couple where their friends live. The rest of it, it's a mystery to them. We're not GPS. We're not maps. So I just put the street, I take the suburb out and they go, oh, that must be 2 suburbs over. But now they see me do that action and I sell that one up there because I'm actually trying to generate all my business back in Central. Now I do one East and I don't knock the neighbors. They'll know, they'll see the signs. You know what? If they want to buy it, they will come to it. If the neighbor was so dopey, they couldn't come to it without you telling, they're not your buyer anyway. The buyer's definitely going to come to it. That's real easy. It's your next listing. So now I go back into Central and say, I've got a new listing. And here's the invite and here's the auction time. And now I've sold it. Now they see me do it twice. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to repeat it up west. I'm going to repeat it down south. And back in Central, I'm going to tell them every single time. So now in Central, on this model, they've seen me list and sell 4 houses. On your other model, which is what we all got taught for, I was taught that for 20 years, I had to do it in those individual areas and they never saw the next one and I never drove back out west again. So I suggest you do your magics, but you only do it in your farm area. And that way, when someone else pops up in your farm area and it annoys you when you drive past that signboard, you're sweet because you've told everybody how good you are. They phone you to get you in there. Now, I think that's how it works. Now, if I do a listing west or on any point of the compass and I sell it, I reckon it's a 1-for-1 deal. If I go back into my farm area and I concentrate on that, keep telling them what I'm doing, I reckon there's a multiplier there. So it might be every 4, I get an extra listing out of it. So that's where the multiplier comes from. And this is why you have over the time had people telling you to operate a farm area. So there we go. Just to challenge your thinking on that. I hope there is some debate around that. But I can promise you now as an auctioneer, every time you told me, yes, Wayne, the neighbors are coming, I want to impress them. I go, mate, we've never been back to that street again with you. So it just doesn't work. That's the proof. Now, let's jump in and we're going to think about 2023. 2023 is going to be brutal. So if you're not up for it, you're going to find it even tougher. But if you like a challenge and you reset and clean up your act, you will do far better than anybody else. So now this competition now is to get the listing. You don't need to be the very best. You don't need to be excellent. You just need to be better than the competition. So here's a couple of things you could do to be better than the competition, and you're not going to like these. First one, fuel. Change your source of fuel. Clean up what you're eating. Now, I like baklava. I like chocolate. I love ice cream. And I'm going to eat fairly well all of that on Christmas Day, but normally I don't. I clean up my fuel. The better fuel I put into my body, the better I will perform. Water. Increase your water intake. If you are dehydrated, you're going to be tired. Every function is going to slow down as you go. And this is a game where you need to be sharper. You need to be sharper so that you're thinking about what should happen. You need to be sharper so that the mind is working constantly. Those guys up on that street, I should go and have another chat to them. I'm going to drive past. I'm going to grab another point by making contact with them as I go. So your brain needs to be hydrated. Your whole body needs to be hydrated. I've pushed myself. I don't think the 2 liters a day is enough. I now go for 4 liters a day. Easily I'm going past the 4 liters. But I tell you now, it took a while to get up there. These are the changes you need to make, or you can make, to become more competitive to secure the listing. Or you can stay the same way you are, and it's going to be a real tough year. Next one, sleep or rest, which is really going to be sleep. And I hear a lot of guys that are talking about the 5 a.m. club. I know some people have 4 a.m. club, and they're focused on that. I think, and I'm not, I'm 6 a.m. and I had the gym 7 days a week at 7 a.m. and then I do double up sessions. So I'm about 9 training sessions a week. So I need to make sure the fuel is sufficient, spaced out 2 hours apart, and that I've got my fasting from when I finish eating at night. I don't eat until lunchtime the next day, but then it's all valuable fuel as I put it in. With my sleep, 9:30, I've got to have the wind down if I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. Because you've got to be in bed before 10 because you need 8 hours sleep. So with what I've looked at, if you're in the gym pressing weights, one of the guys just said this to me. It made so much sense. If he gets 8 hours sleep, his ability to press goes up by 20%. The weights he's lifting, 20% up. And if it goes down, say you 6 hours sleep, we all know what that feels like. You're like yawning and it's a little bit tired as you go through. So 8 hours is the target as you roll. So the first alarm that you should be interested in is the night alarm to go to bed, not the morning alarm. That's the easy one. You will wake up if you go to bed on time and you wake up fresh and ready to go. So 9:30, start cutting out all the other things and going, we have got 30 minutes before I'm knocked out. I'm off my head on the pillow. And then you're in bed by 10, knocked out in my case, and then 6 a.m. you wake up like a little baby going, oh, here we go, this is going to be great. Let's hit the gym straight away. So that would be my suggestion. I'm going to suggest 2 things to drop out. I know you're not going to do it, but if you hear this enough, one day you will. I ignored it for years and years and years. Then I made these changes and I saw immediate changes and I saw compounding changes. First one is coffee. Forget it. It's nonsense. You don't need it. Try giving coffee to a kid. You would never do it. Next one is alcohol. Don't give alcohol to yourself. It's simply a poison. So I poisoned myself for years. I had a great time like everybody else did. And as I talked to one of the ladies in our team, challenge when you drop out alcohol is twofold. First of all, you'll become boring at parties. That's what it is. But then secondly, everybody else at the party becomes boring to you because they're drunk. That's the way. Or they've just had enough that they're boring. Now, if I drop alcohol out of my system, you'll notice immediately a change. You'll notice after year 1 a change, and year 10's the big change. So I was in the army. We drank like soldiers. That's literally what we did. But when I stopped drinking alcohol to be more sensible with my family and also with my business, at the 10-year mark, it was compounding. I was like, I'm so much fresher. So years of poisoning myself as I went through, I had to take that time to get it out of the body. So I would suggest when you're ready, one day, drop the coffee. If you sleep, you don't need coffee. And if you're using coffee in the morning to get yourself going, you're not sleeping. Sort the sleep out. And if you're drinking alcohol, it will have an impact on you. If you don't believe it, take the little kid again and give them some alcohol and watch how it is poison. So now the last thing I'm going to give you is some homework. And at this time of year, you get the time to think, and you need to think a little bit more as you set yourself up for 2023. So I would suggest 2 things. I'll make it real easy. In your farm area, become the expert on your farm area. The absolute expert. What's the history of it? What was it like before it was full of houses and populated? What was the demographic changes over the year? What did that look years? What did that look like? And then go through the stats. What's the makeup statistically of the population inside my demographic? I do all of that. You can find most of that real easy. You can go to the library and read it. Or you can go online. I reckon books have got some value, so you go and have a look at that. Next thing, while you've got time, get back out there and visit your streets. At least drive through all your farm area streets. Better yet, walk them. You can drop off your DLEs or your postcards or whatever, but at least walk them. And what you're looking for is 2 things, bins and building. Bins and building. There's a bit of building going on. Talk to whoever's doing it and see if they're speculating and they're going to on-sell it. If there's a bit of building going on, are they renovating it? People put up with the house that doesn't suit them, then they renovate it before they sell and they make it really nice for the next person. And bins are the other one. If they're starting to throw things out, it means they're moving out. So those are the signs we're looking for. Last one, here's the bonus. Work out your marketing budget, self-promotion marketing budget for 2023. What are you going to allocate on top of the vendor-paid marketing selling their property that puts you into the market? I'll give you a hint on this. I've been doing real estate 20 years. In my first year, my marketing budget for myself was $15,000. So I committed to spending $15,000 to get my brand out there. And every time I did that, I checked my brand to make sure it was consistent and it was telling the market what I wanted them to understand about me as an agent. So there we go. Hope that's been valuable. Some thoughts there to challenge you on going around your properties or your farm area. Which way do you run on that? It's your choice, just giving you some ideas. And then the reset ideas as we come through. All the best for 2023. Ciao.